after you blow an account, this is something I'm dealing with right now. People make it seem like it's easy to make money in this market. So I've got $1,485 in this my funded futures account with only a 41% win rate. So what's that about? I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing yet. Last night, good profit factor. So the big thing I've been looking at is the equity curve and trying to avoid things like this big drawdown here. It's not a matter of just having these rules, it's actually to enforce them and follow them, and that's what my software is supposed to do. Why it's very difficult times 10, because then it's all on you and there's nothing there to help you. This is absolutely a waste of effort and time to allow this to happen. So all that work was for nothing, even though I ended up in profit. That's the crazy part. Update for September 12th. So I feel like I haven't been consistent this week. This was very difficult trading for me, but I do have the ability, I know, to make money in this industry. So just real talk. What do you do after you blow an account? This is something I'm dealing with right now. I have funded accounts still. I'm consistently passing these prop firm evaluations, no problem. It's a matter of keeping the accounts. I had a bunch of technology issues this week with the software that manages the risk, and for whatever reason it was not working as I thought it would, and I ended up losing 3 of my trade day accounts. I passed a take profit account, I passed a my funded futures account, and I've almost passed another my futures account. But all in all, this month I think I've passed a total of 10 take profits and 3 trade day accounts, 2 my funded futures accounts, and another take profit account this week. So that's a lot of work to pass all these accounts, and that's something I don't think enough people will look at, myself included, is how much time you're putting into these. My focus is also on just taking $1,000 personal brokerage account and showing that I can pay my rent just from that $1,000 by making $50 per day. What am I getting at here? I think no matter what tools you have with the prop firms, it's going to be difficult, and I'll review what I think I could have done differently this week to see if that maybe helps you. For me, it is frustrating, but the real question is, what do you do from here once you've put in all that work and you have to start from scratch? That's very frustrating, and you're going to probably go through this as well, unless you're just a really consistent trader that manages the risk right. With the accounts with trade day, I can show you I'm still in profit, but I failed the funded accounts because they had a trailing drawdown. However, I should have never gotten close to the trailing drawdown with a $200 per day risk budget. That's on me. I didn't double check all the settings to make sure that I was not able to get into trades that were going to bring me below that $200 per day drawdown, and also when I'm in profit to make sure that I'm not losing more than half of that profit once I'm in profit. So it's not easy, okay? Nobody is gonna, people make it seem like it's easy to make money in this market, and so if you push it too hard, you can definitely spend more money than really it's worth, and more time. That's the bottom line. So I'll review my trades this week, my days, and show you what happened. Focusing on the good stuff first, because that's what I know I can control, is the actual procedures and alignment with what is working. That's what has enabled me to actually make money in the markets. So I want to focus on that first, and then I can cover what went wrong this week and what I can do to control that in the future. So obviously, keeping a positive mindset is super important, especially after blowing an account. You cannot be too hard on yourself. It happens to everyone with these prop firms because there are specific rules that are not the same as a personal brokerage. If you've blown a personal brokerage account, you also need to stay positive, and I think that's something to remember. It does not make you a bad person because you have lost money. However, it does mean that there are steps you can take to become more professional and to make sure that it's minimized in the future. So that's the whole point of this whole series, is minimizing your exposure in the markets, making sure that when you do have profits that you're locking in gains. So I need to start taking my own advice a lot more going into the end of September and October here if I want to get to that $1 million mark, because I'm wasting time if I keep churning through accounts like I did this week. So this is just a lesson to myself and to everybody. It can happen to the best of traders as well as to somebody that's just starting out. So I've got $1,485 in this my funded futures account with only a 41% win rate. So what's that about? Let's take a look here. Okay, the first day was actually one main trade here. This $904 winner was a great setup on gold. And the one thing that did happen this week was I changed my hold times because I felt like there was opportunity to hold some of these trades longer, where really my strategy generally calls for a hold time of anywhere between 5 and 7 minutes maximum on my winners. So this is really outside of my strategy. This is a new kind of feeling for me to hold something this long with one mini contract. The most that I can trade in these accounts initially is sized down to one mini. So that's part of the reason I think I implemented this, is because initially with the scaling plan that they have in this account, only one mini when you're less than $1,000 in profit. So I wanted to get to that 1,000, and so switch my strategy around here to look for bigger moves, which I did have. This was over a 60-minute trade here. I felt like this was a good place to potentially exit here, even though I felt like it could go further, but I didn't want to push my luck. I'm not used to trading and holding longer than 10 minutes normally. So this was a big change for me in this account. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing yet. Let's take a look at the next day here. Okay, so this was not a very good day here. On Thursday, you can see this account drew down. And I really don't like what I'm seeing here, because although I did end up in profit, I was down $600. So this is not good. Too many trades, 26% win rate. That's not good. Okay, better day last night. Okay, good profit factor, 7.94. 50% win rate. You can see the main trade here was just, looks like one long on gold here on this pullback. Moving on here to the Take Profit Trader account that I funded. This will be available on Monday that I passed. I've got a 1.5 to 1 win-loss ratio. It's above 1, so I'm happy with that, but I would like it to be over 2 if possible. Profit factor 2, that's good. means all my profits combined are 2 times the amount of my losses here. Looking at the 5 days here that it was traded, $700 on Thursday last week. Small win on Friday, 293 and 724 here. The big thing I've been looking at is the equity curve and trying to avoid things like this big drawdown here. If I had my risk settings set up correctly, this should have not been allowed to come back against me this much on this day. So really have to look at why. This is what I want to see with the P&L curve. So I'm not liking what I'm seeing on specific days here and not understanding how I allowed things like this to happen. So this is okay. This is a very small $17 drawdown here. And then this looks like a lot of work to get up to 723. Was at 400. A lot of trades here. This could have potentially been more efficient, but not allowing a large drawdown here. I think I have it set, and I need to really go double check all my settings now. That if I make $400 and come back down $200 against that I'm done. So it's not a matter of just having these rules, it's actually to enforce them and follow them, and that's what my software is supposed to do. Why it hasn't been doing it correctly, I'm not sure. That's on me, though, to double check it and make sure that it's actually set up correctly before I start entering trades. Seems self-explanatory. Would be nice to have somebody to call you on the phone and say, you're allotted this amount of risk today, $200 per account, or you're allotted $400 per day because you've been trading well. But if you exceed that, you're done for the day and we're shutting you down. So being your own risk manager is difficult. Man, it's difficult. If you don't have the software in place, it's very difficult times 10, because then it's all on you and there's nothing there to help you. The good news is I have this software. Implementing it has been more difficult than I possibly could have imagined. I'm going to get it right. I'm going to have it set up where I want it. I think what I need to remember is if I make updates to my computer system, update software, stuff like that, that I need to go in there and double check to make sure that the settings haven't changed and that it actually is enabled and active every day. I take that for granted, I think. And I think that has been the big issue this week. We'll go look at now one more My Funded Futures account. This is the evaluation here. So getting to 3,000 is the goal. And you can see I'm very close to passing this one. Let's take a look at this though to see if there's, okay, this equity curve looks good. This is really what I want to see. Yeah, this is what I want to see on the equity curve. And then locking out after a $200 loss, okay? With the commissions, it was more. About $250. It looks like I have it set up on this account. And now let's go to the bad accounts. The bad news. Okay. So great start on day one with these 3 funded accounts. Over a $2,500 profit in these funded accounts combined. Small day Tuesday, Wednesday, another 1,000. And then Thursday night was this ridiculous loser here. Now you can see at one point I was up and was able to lock out in profit in these accounts. However, look how far it came against me here. This is absolutely a waste of effort and time to allow this to happen. Okay, this is where I should have been locked out right here. right at the $200 level. So I don't understand why this software did not get me out of the trade. And not only that, but obviously I noticed that it wasn't working and I allowed it to. I kept trading in spite of the fact that the software was not working. So that's a mental lapse in judgment on my part. So all that work was for nothing. Even though I ended up in profit, that's the crazy part. Still in profit, but because of the rules they have with the trailing drawdown, although my accounts are still profitable, they're gone because I've had that one bad day and did not control the risk correctly. So technological issues this week, big red day, and not, as you can see, it's still positive trade expectancy, positive profit factor. But if you have one bad day, depending on the prop firm that you're with, you're still going to lose all your progress, right? So it's super fundamental that I have these controls in place and not continue to keep cycling through accounts like this.